everyone. Welcome to another new episode of the Civil Canadians. Of course, you know who the hell I am. I am King Kansas. This is the great Scotty V, and that's Mr. Movies over there. Yes, he's alive. I didn't get rid of him. You know, I know he hasn't been on for what, Scotty? About a month, maybe? I don't know. You know what? Whatever. He's here now. There's a reason why we need this man, because, you know, this man apparently is knowledgeable in movies more than the king sometimes, which I find that hard to believe, Scotty. I think you agree with me on that one. Yeah. But it's okay. That's why he's called Mr. Movies. So in this episode number 105 video, it's June 1st, man. You believe it's June already, Scotty?
Oh, man.
I love it. It's the king's birth month. It's the perfect month, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah?
You guys disagree with me? Off the set right now.
I don't disagree.
You may exit to the left.
I need a vacation.
Don't worry, yours is coming up, Scotty. You deserve one.
In
you
2
know?
more months.
2 years of doing this almost. Jesus. Eh? Two years that the king's older.
Yeah.
But anyways, the reason why we're here, guys, apparently a little movie came out last weekend that didn't do too well according to some naysayers.
The biggest pile of garbage ever.
Scotty, watch your movie.
With that.
All the hate mail, this man right now, and you know he's going to get it. What movie are we referring to? We're referring to Solo, a Star Wars story. Apparently, this movie came over the weekend. I know that Scotty V and myself were scheduled to go see it Saturday, but of course something happened. But thank God Mr. Movies decided to go see it. So we're going to pick his brain. You know, I'm going to do an interview style. I'm going to get some information about this because I don't think we're going to go see it now. Time has gone and passed, but thank God we have you to go see it. So anyways, first thing I'm going to ask you, Mr. Movies, how was the damn thing?
So it was good.
Okay.
It's about as solid as
guys,
Star Wars
spoiler
movie.
alert, he's going to spoil his guts.
Oh, for
So I'm
sure.
warning you guys. So you have more than a week to go see because apparently nobody went to go see it. But anyways, that's your problem.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
go ahead, Mr. Movies. Tell us a little bit about it. Don't tell us the whole damn movie, but tell us what you liked about it and how did it fail.
So it was a solid movie all around, just a typical action movie. The problem with this movie is it was in a way unnecessary. It didn't really add too much. There was a couple things which I'll mention in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, it was as solid. It was a 7 out of 10 as you can get. You know what I mean? Just it's disappointing because it's a Star Wars movie. You expect this incredible this world-class top-tier Disney movie, right?
Okay.
But this definitely fell on the lower end. Probably the worst one that they've made since the new releases.
Okay.
So much weaker than like Rogue One or, of course, Force Awakens, even The Last Jedi. But in general,
Don't worry, we'll get into that later, guys. Don't worry, we're going to discuss that.
even though it sounds like I'm insulting it, it's the worst of the best in a way.
Okay, so what did you like? Name a couple of things that you liked in the movie that made it worth your while to go see it, that you were glad to go see this thing in the theaters.
So, spoilers ahead, like the king said. My favorite parts right away, there was one of my most anticipated cameos. Darth Maul shows up in this,
Damn!
I always found them creepy.
Didn't he look cool?
He looked...
Toad from the X-Men first movie. Ray Park, I think his name is.
He looked... So there's a CGI version of him, actually.
Oh, really? Not even his actual...
And I thought he looked great.
He looked good with the CGI?
He looked very
Was
good.
he like Thanos-like good CGI or kind of close?
It was over like a...
It was like a hologram.
As a hologram.
Oh, was that what he... Okay.
So it's hard to like fully make out how like...
gotcha.
But like from what you make out, you're like...
You could see.
It's not even how he looked, it's more like that it happened and you're like... Everyone... I remember my
It's
movie
a shock
theater,
factor.
Everyone in my movie was like, what?
Yeah, what the hell?
And some people who didn't watch like the animated show were like, wait, he's alive?
Yeah, how's
And
that
I'm like,
possible?
Exactly. It's because in the animated show, it explains he survived and everything.
So
right?
they made him canon in a way,
Exactly.
right?
They canonized him. He's actually still alive.
By using the movie.
He ends up, even though he's not a pivotal role, he's actually the big baddie overall. Right? He's the one who owns he's the boss of the big boss.
Okay, the other guys that you don't know about.
Exactly. Another, what else I liked about this movie? Probably... the standout, of course, has to be Donald Glover's Lando. I thought
Did he steal the movie? Did he steal it?
Easily. I think
Really,
I thought he was easily the strongest of the actors. He killed that role. Where Han Solo, I thought, like, I'll give him credit. I don't think he was bad or anything, but he's no Harrison Ford.
No, it's big shoes to fill.
Whereas
We know
Donald
that. It was
Glover-
already against him.
Whereas Donald Glover killed the role. I think I might have liked him more in the original. I know it's controversial, but he killed it.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, name one thing you hated about the movie besides, I don't know.
Probably just the importance. It felt very unimportant, even with the cameo of like Darth Maul. It just felt like this movie. It could never have happened, and nothing would have changed. Really.
Okay.
Because even if they didn't canonize Darth Maul in this, he was canonized in the animated series. So I think the only big thing this brought was showing Darth Maul again on the big screen. Aside from that, there was zero importance in this.
The one thing I wanted to ask you before we get into what we're going to really discuss, to get really in a heated argument, because trust me, there's going to be
for
a wicked,
sure.
you're going to see fireworks, guys, and
Of
it's
course.
not Canada Day yet or 4th of July for you.
Yeah, me and Scotty
fellow
V are going to
Americans.
argue in a second.
All right, it's going to be great. I'm going to enjoy it. I wish I had popcorn. But as you guys know, King's on a diet there. He's on his Project 31. He ain't eating all that crap anymore. I'm surprised I'm still standing. But anyways, did it succeed by telling us how Han Solo got his name and how he got there? Like, did it do a little more character origin telling, I guess? Because that's what I thought this whole movie was about. It's how he becomes who he is and he gets the Millennium Falcon with Chewie. Does he meet Chewie in this film? I don't know. You got to tell us because I don't think I'm going to watch it until I buy the damn thing.
So it did do all of that. My problem was everything. Even though I understand they have one movie, they have 2.5 hours to do this. It felt too quick. Like some things
Jumping around too much?
I don't want to say it was unearned, but in a way, like partially it was. Where you see the way he got his name was very interesting. It's actually
How did he get it?
So he goes to apply because all they know him is Han. He's orphan, I believe, so they don't know his
Real
he has
name?
the last name.
Oh, okay.
Right. So he goes to apply.
So
to,
he gets the Solo. He doesn't get the Hans part.
No,
I thought maybe he'll get Hans and Solo was
He's
whatever.
always Han, yeah. So he goes
Okay.
to to apply to become a pilot for the Empire, and then it's a funny scene, but like in a way it brings down the importance. All it is he talks to the requisition officer there, and he's like, okay, what's your name? He says Han. Last thing he's like, oh, I don't have one. He's like, I guess you're Solo, right? Because he's alone.
Oh, okay, so that's how he
It was
gets
clever, don't get me wrong. I found it funny, but at the same time, like, it just felt unimportant. And the way he got his Millennium Falcon, it's very funny. He actually won it off Lando.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gambling.
How was, buddy, the action scenes? How did it look? Like, if you had to describe it, was it
terrific? That's
on
probably
par with the other Star Wars
easily.
movies?
That's something I think Disney, even though I have some arguments how Disney's gone about it, other than The Force Awakens. Even The Force Awakens was arguably the same story as the Empire, not Empire, A New Hope.
Okay.
Exactly. I thought like the rest of the movies, the story in general wasn't fully well made by them, but what they've killed since the beginning, I feel like, is the action. They know how to
Action,
direct
but
Star Wars.
It's the storytelling. It's the
Exactly.
the story behind the action. Because you can have action all you want.
Exactly.
But if there's no meaning behind it,
Exactly.
you know, like some other big movies that we've seen recently,
For sure.
you won't feel that same impactful.
Exactly.
So now let's go into box office before. So now, based on what you saw, you know, because we didn't see it, because kind of explains it. Is it warranted that it only made, say, 88 million? They were expecting 100 to 150 million. Does it deserve that amount for the people who are Star Wars fans? Because you guys were Star Wars fans. You didn't show up for this damn thing. We have a reason. We're not like diehards. That's why we didn't go. But it's like, in a sense.
I'm diehard. That's
So,
what I want. Yeah.
so now, does it deserve the $87 million?
It definitely deserves more, but I can't say this is a movie deserving of a crazy amount. This isn't like The Force Awakens was something colossal.
Okay.
I don't think I'll ever see it again in my lifetime.
Okay, so
right, something like even Last Jedi, even though I had controversies, it's still a numbered Star Wars movie. It adds stuff. Right?
Okay, so now
This
before
one, yeah.
don't add more yet. So now this brings to the topic of the show. Now with The Last Jedi getting so negative reactions and things, and now you have Solo that was not bad at the box office. And then before that, Rogue One was somewhat strong, I think, because I've seen only 2 of them.
Rogue One was still.
So now, do you think, since you're the bigger Star Wars fans than us, and Scotty, you can chime in because you watched a little bit of The Last Jedi. Did you see Rogue One at all?
No.
Okay, I seen Rogue One. So based from what I've seen and what you've seen of the last 3 Star Wars movies, do you think there's a slow decline now? There's not a much following for Star Wars, or people are not as enthused as they were when the Force Awakens? Did it kind of just topple down? Because now it's like the status of the Star Wars franchise. Do you think it's going down in the shitters, as they say?
So no, 100% I don't. But I think there's 3 core problems right now
Okay.
in the universe. One, I think, particularly has to do with the directing issues. The Last Jedi, the director, I'd say botched it. I don't-
Because they were saying that, oh my God, you got to see The Last Jedi, you got Luke Skywalker returns, you got all these key elements.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it kind of, like, some people loved it and some people hated it.
Exactly.
I watched
Very
the damn
controversial.
thing, and honest to God, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was the greatest thing. Nothing compares to The Force Awakens. That's probably
course.
one of the better, the new ones that got
Easily,
released.
yeah.
It's just how they use Luke Skywalker in the damn
Oh
thing.
yeah, 100%.
And Leia.
Yeah, I didn't
You
like
know,
it.
Princess Leia in real life, you know, Carrie Fisher passed away, you know, God rest her soul and all that. That you would
Kind of
kind of
weird.
thought they would reshoot that part and kind of twist how whatever happens in it,
Exactly.
you know, just to make more sense. And maybe
Exactly.
that's why the impact didn't kind of resonate with people. Like Luke Skywalker, come on. He can withstand the attack that what's his name gave him with that stupid everybody shooting on him when they were in the Last Stand.
Oh yeah.
He could survive that, but then he kind of like disappears. You know,
It's in general.
I can understand why everybody's pissed off about that
Exactly.
and why, you know, people are a little, come on, Luke Skywalker, and that's how he's gonna because you know he's gonna probably be back in the next one.
Yeah.
You know, but little elements like that didn't make sense. Like if he's like this strong enough here, why is he not? And he's gonna dissipate. You know.
Then director's issues, you also got to look at Solo. They had a director's switch even midway, right? Ron
Yeah.
Howard came in afterwards.
Yeah, he corrected. You knew there was issues and stuff like that. That kind of makes sense, but it's kind of almost like a cop-out. But it's still
Exactly.
getting. He's a good director. It's not like you got some Mickey Mouse.
Exactly.
Disney.
Another
Guys
issue
to take
I'd
over.
say is just it's fatigue. Like the reason Force Awakens did so well in Rogue One is because we haven't seen Star Wars in so long. Now they just bombard you every year, and in this case, this couple months after Last Jedi, right? This is what, 5 months or 6? Not even a year, right? Like half a year between Last Jedi and Solo. So they're bombarding you with too much. I feel like if you had one every like 2 years or something, or like year and a half, it would
Okay.
be better. But like every year, I thought was too much, and every half a year is just overkill.
Okay,
right?
now that you said that, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Scotty can probably chime in. Why can it work for Marvel when you can have a movie every 5 or 6 years and people are not sick of them? But yet Star Wars, the biggest fandom there is in the entire universe,
I'll tell you why.
6 months. Tell them,
'Cause
Scotty,
they
and then
build-
they're sick of it.
They build it up. The like the Avengers movies. You get one every 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. In between those 3 years, you build up towards that movie.
Exactly.
So you build relationships with other characters like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. You build up a relationship, and you see their story leading up to the main battle with the Avengers.
Okay.
That's why people go see the Avengers movies more than they would go see Star Wars.
Or even the other Marvel movies. You know how they're only how many months apart, Scotty?
They're like what, 3 months apart at
That's
a
what I'm
time.
saying. If it's less time, and Star Wars is 6 months, and people are like, if there is, like you said, fatigue,
Yeah.
and people are just sick of them. If I was a Star Wars fan, I would love to see a Star Wars movie every 6
Yeah.
months if I, can get our hands
I
on
feel
it.
like the problem is because they're not telling the storyless people
Properly.
want. And
Or
the
people
stories
that they're
people
interested
want.
in.
It's because, in a way, right? Like they bring it back. I know me personally, like Solo. I loved Han Solo, but I don't need to see his origin story. Like I love Han Solo as he is.
It's unnecessary
He isn't,
stories.
he isn't interesting because I want to know how he became Han Solo. He's interesting because Harrison Ford is a
He made him
world-class
interesting.
actor.
Yeah,
he made him
he
interesting.
created that. That's him in a
Right?
sense. After Indiana Jones,
On top of that,
right, Scotty?
even
Indiana Jones.
I think that one of the other problems with Last Jedi, even though I love Force Awakens, but you gotta look at it. It's in a way a continuation of the previous ones. They need to tell new stories. That's how you get people in. And then they
That's
got
why-
if they want to go into the past, they gotta tell interesting stories.
That's why the Marvel movies work.
Exactly, because they tell new stories every time. They
And
don't
then-
retread.
And then when the Avengers, the big team up movie comes up, everything is put together.
Exactly.
And do you think, Ian, with Star Wars, because there's so many like cartoon series and things that are not canon and whatever, and there's the characters that are like so out there with so many different stories or whatever interpretations being told that maybe that's impacting a little bit of the movies because there's just so much saturation of Star Wars, this and the different, First Republic stories and all that. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm just throwing
Yeah.
names here, guys. You know better than I. And with Marvel, sure, there's years and years of comic books, but we haven't seen that physically
Yeah.
on the big screen. There's that allure with the Marvel films that are, they draw your attention. Like you can go see them because y'all superhero fatigue, but yet still got 3 movies coming out every single year from Marvel, and you got the DC stuff that unfortunately, is not as great or up to par, but they're still kind of new at it in a sense.
In all fairness, to
You
play
know?
devil's advocate, I don't see another Marvel movie making as much as Infinity War.
I think
I see
the
it going
Avengers
downhill
4 is
from
going to
there.
go, buddy.
The fourth one is going to be
Going to
bigger.
blow it out of the water.
Let's see. I disagree with you on that. I got a feeling it won't.
Because I'll tell you right now that you mentioned that, because Scotty will tell you too. Is Cap going to survive this time? Is Iron Man going to?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be watching to see if those two core guys are going to survive, right, Scotty?
And we know 2 of the 6 original Avengers are going to survive.
There you go.
Hmm.
Black Widow, and of course you know Spider-Man can survive, but who cares about that? But I don't know.
Spider-Man's
And who
not
else?
an Avenger.
Who else is going to survive, Scotty? Who knows?
Hawkeye.
I don't know.
Hawkeye,
But there's
yeah.
gonna, hey, maybe Captain thing. That's the allure. It's gonna be bigger. Trust me. Will episode 9 though be bigger, or like, is it gonna make more money? Can now JJ's back to do that?
No.
I don't think so, just because.
I think it's gonna make
also
more.
I also don't think Infinity War will make as much as Force Awakens, for example. I still
No,
don't
domestically.
Think it. Well, domestically, it won't even touch
No.
it. I think globally, it won't even.
But see, now
I
that
think
you,
it'll
now
happen
that
too.
Scotty, you can go after him for that now. Okay, I'm gonna start it, and you guys can talk, cause I want to see this. It's like
Well,
wrestling.
we're running out of time.
Okay, so anyways, now basically in the box office numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Star Wars has been around, say, in film, cinema, since 1977, okay?
Exactly.
Technically, Marvel's really been around, what, Scotty? Since 2008?
Yeah, 10 years.
So, 10 years. So now, is it really a fair assessment to say that, you know, Star Wars, 30, 40 some odd years, making the money they've made, compared to Marvel's 10 years, and Marvel's made similar money. I know inflation and all that crap. Is it fair to say that Star Wars is more successful or better than MCU? Okay, guys, fight. Go ahead.
I say easily, simply because the Marvel.
Who's more
movies-
successful?
the
That's what
Marvel-
I'm
the
trying to get
Mar-
at.
Marvel.
Oh, who's more successful? Like,
Like,
in
if
general.
you were going to compare the time frame, 10 years Marvel and how much they've made of with all their movies, 20 movies, or Star Wars since, you know, like 40 some odd years with the
Marvel.
money they've
I say
made.
Oh, I say Star Wars.
Marvel.
You say Star Wars, you say
I say
Marvel?
Marvel.
Okay, plead your case. And then Scotty, you're going to
Very easy.
state our case.
Very easy case. Marvel has had more than double the amount of movies to make that kind of money.
Okay.
If Star Wars had the exact same amount of movies as Marvel did, it wouldn't even be. This wouldn't even be an argument.
Okay.
It would be easily.
Even though they had 40 years to make that money up to now and all that funny stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
9 movies, right? If you're going to say 9,
How many?
it'll be 9
Six.
normal ones and then the 3 in between, or 2 in between. 11 movies, right? 11
Not
movies.
even 9 yet. More like 10, because the ninth one didn't.
Next
come out.
year will be, 11, right?
Whereas Marvel had how many? You should know, 20. now?
18, 19?
20.
It'll be
It's gonna
20 with Ant-Man, right?
So
Yeah.
what? That's double, literally double.
Double. And
But since the fandom is bigger in Star Wars, don't you think that they would make even more money? That you can have less
yeah,
is more
if
sometimes?
if you're telling the same story, people are not going to watch it.
That's the problem.
No, less and more. Less is more, right?
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars has been, their trend has been repeating the same story, but in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has different stories, and that's why they keep the audience more intrigued into the
Interested.
story, and people go watch Star Wars. It's the same story, but with a different twist.
Mm-hmm.
After Infinity War it ends, though. There's no more.
I don't know,
generating
man.
Money.
I
The stories
have a-
won't be as interesting.
For me,
With Kevin Feige in charge, it's going to be fine.
and you know what? And you got Spider-Man.
Spider-Man still has 2 more movies.
And then the potential of if that Fox and thing ever deal goes through and you got the X-Men and then all the
Now,
other
let me ask you
extra
this one
characters.
thing.
Okay.
You in particular.
Yes.
What has more importance to film? Star Wars or Marvel movies? In
You mean
general.
like
relevance to film?
pop culture? Are you talking about? What are you telling me?
Overall.
Overall?
Overall,
I-
what has
I
had
think
more an
s-
effect
That
than cinema?
You know what? It depends on your personal angle. For me, I was more into comic books than I was Star Wars. Even though I grew up during Star Wars, you can ask me, I can tell you at least 20 or 30 different Marvel
Yeah.
or whatever superheroes or comic book characters.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask me how many characters I know at Star Wars, I'll be lucky maybe to name them all in my 2 little hands.
Uh-huh.
That's it. Because I'm not into that universe. Don't get me wrong, I love watching those movies, but
Sure.
as to put Marvel characters, like I said, even with the Guardians, you think I give a rat's butt of the Guardians?
not.
But yet,
Yeah.
I learned about them, and I remember the main characters. That's 5 extra. Star Wars, like, is just because there's so much information at your
Yeah.
fingertips, they
much
tend to
bigger
blend to me.
universe.
But
There's
it
just-
depends on what you grew up or what interests you. If you're more sci-fi or you're more comic books, like how I am, and
that's-
animated, that's why
probably why
I would side with Marvel. Scotty, what would you do?
That's
side
fair.
with? I know you.
I
Already.
would you know me, it's
Yeah,
Marvel,
Marvel.
all the way.
You're Star Wars,
I'm sci-fi, although.
but did you grow up watching superheroes and stuff? That's why.
I did, but I also grew up watching a lot of sci-fi.
Oh, that's why.
I was in love with Star Wars, Star Trek.
You're siding with Star Wars because you're a sci-fi guy.
100%.
Marvel because we're into. It depends on your personal preference and your experience. Growing up as a kid, it was superhero stuff for me more than Star Wars. I guess because I missed that loop. I wasn't like in the '60s to really appreciate Star Wars. Going into the '70s, superheroes things was art, and now with the new in the double O's as I call them, we're getting all these superhero movies. So we're getting more of that rather than Star Wars. If they start expanding and maybe doing the different Star Wars characters and kind of slowly introducing, like Scotty was saying, new characters. If you start doing that instead of rehashing older or other characters and then let's throw Darth Maul here just to get that kind of impact, you don't.
And in all fairness, I see the fatigue of Marvel movies going down. Our good friend James Cameron may agree with that.
Don't listen to James Cameron. James Cameron
is just some stupid idiot.
You know what's gonna happen? I'll tell you guys right now. Mark my words.
Movies of all time.
He does, but if he thinks bringing Avatar how many years later and releasing all these Avatar movies, people are gonna go watch Avatar.
100% not.
No
way.
Done. Like you should have done those when they were right there. With Marvel, it's still going up. They're making millions on everything. Don't look here and there. They're growing bigger outside.
International.
Marvel's greatest decision ever was selling themselves to Disney. Disney knows how to make stories. Disney knows how to make movies. Disney knows.
Oh yeah, trust me, and they're smart. And like now that they're working together, trust me, Disney's not. And who owns Star Wars too?
As far as comic books, as a bigger DC fan, I just pray for the day when DC sells its soul to Disney. I just pray for it.
It's gonna happen.
I hope.
Eventually.
I don't know, because I think that's what's keeping the Warner Brothers afloat. Because at the end of the day, guys,
I don't know about that.
What are the biggest blockbuster movies that make money for theaters right now? Superhero movies. That's why they make them.
But
still.
Justice League failed big time.
Batman v Superman even failed.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know people are trying to model themselves after Marvel and all that.
If you look at Wonder Woman, for example, as good of a movie as that was, money-wise, it didn't break any records.
The problem is they were
female records, but like
under
$1 billion.
The problem is
cultural.
The problem is they were rushing.
Rushing and all that. Yeah, like we were discussing in one of our older episodes. You do not kill Superman 3 movies in. Are you kidding me? That's something you do, like how Thanos shows up.
There's only 2 movies.
There you go. See, that goes to tell you everything. Even worse, DC and Warner Brothers.
You don't try to skip the line.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't kill the guy.
Yeah.
It's like they almost did the reverse. Instead of building up to that moment that Superman dies so you can feel the impact, and then you need the Justice League. He should have died during the Justice League movie, saving the Earth, and that's Doomsday, who they have to stop in Justice League with Darkseid or something like that.
Just should have happened 6 movies in, not
that's right.
2 movies
You're
in.
you don't even have your characters established. Like Scotty was saying with the Marvel movies, they brought all these characters out. You introduce you to each character that you give a rat's butt about, right, Scotty? So when they do die, you're like, oh damn, he just died. That's why we got slapped in the face with Infinity War, because it was 10 years in the making.
Exactly.
And you knew every single character. I was talking to a couple of guys at work, Scotty, that they didn't feel the same impact the way we did because we followed every single movie. They just jumped in maybe 2 or 3 movies and they didn't, I don't know, it didn't affect them the same, just like how it would. Just like how Star Wars movies, same damn thing. If you didn't watch the first, all the episodes to now, and maybe that's why people are so serious with this whole Star Wars stuff. Oh, the Last Jedi and stuff. And maybe that's why, to me, it didn't affect me how it did when I watched Infinity War, So maybe that's what it is. But overall,
I got so affected, exactly.
But remember, though, guys, at the end of the day, the people who are making these movies are making them to entertain us.
Yeah.
Right? But they have to decide, and that's why we get these watered-down movies and people are all upset. Are you making a movie for a particular, like for Star Wars, are you making for the fanboys, or are you making for everybody?
Exactly.
For this, when you start to cater to everybody, you're going to dilute your final product. Just like Marvel. Marvel is catering to Marvel fans, in a sense. If they start catering to everybody like how they did with Spider-Man, Sony did it, what happened with Sony's attempt with Spider-Man? They killed Spider-Man because they try to make everybody happy. Sure, you got kids and stuff, but guess what? If someone loves Spider-Man, they're going to go see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Whether it's a shit movie or not, okay. You're not directing it. It's not your money you're footing up. But at the end of the day, their job is to entertain you. And that's what it is. But you have to know the people who you're trying to entertain. Scotty?
Yeah.
Am I right?
All right.
So anyways, guys, I hope you guys liked this episode of the Civil Canadians, number 105, Star Wars status, and a little bit of Marvel.
A bit long episode, but
You know,
okay.
but we had to
Good one.
discuss it, you know, because we want to put this story to bed with Star Wars. We don't want you guys to think that we only talk superheroes. We're starting to introduce other kind of non-related stories. That this guy's, he's a little quieter, but don't worry, Scotty's. When he feels that it's necessary to say something, he's gonna say something, and when he does, you better listen. Right, Mr.
Okay.
Movies?
For sure.
So, Scotty, take us away, buddy.
If you guys like this discussion of Star Wars, hit like, share, subscribe, and check out our other videos as well. And until next week.
Be good, guys, and yeah, we'll see you next Friday again.
Yes.
Bye.
Take it easy.
See you later.
Be good.
Brush your hair.